Let's take a look at some charts on YFI, Yearn Finance, from this week's article on Brave New Coin. So YFI is a DeFi platform that optimizes and maximizes yields for crypto holdings by automatically switching funds across various lending protocols. It also happens to have a governance token, air quotes there, big air quotes, and staking rewards for holders. So there's about 400 million BTC, ETH, USD, DAI, whatever have you, collectively locked, air quotes again, into YFI. Locked is a interesting term because it's not like a certificate of deposit, a CD, in a sense where you lock it for X amount of time. In general, in most DeFi stuff, it's just in and out, or it can be in and out. YFI, I believe you have to lock for a certain amount of time for some of the stuff. And if we look at why services like this have a use case, it's because there are so many more DeFi lending trading platforms where you can send ETH and get APY. Now this will go up and down depending on what's going on in the ecosystem in general, but if we look at USDC, I don't know if this is real, but if it is, you know, if you had USDC in Yearn, it would send it here, right? Because it's an insane APY right now. That's not going to stay that way, but in the moment, that's what it is, according to LoanScan. DAI, same thing. There's all these platforms you can send. Your DAI, again, DYDX is up there at around 9%. So a service like this is definitely useful and has a purpose. You can say it like that. If we look at who holds the token, most of it is on a few addresses. So there's only 30,000 tokens out there in the wild right now. They may vote to make more tokens in the future. Something I suspect eventually will happen. The way it's played out, a popular service with 30,000 tokens, price goes extremely high just based on supply and demand, right? There's only so many to go around. And at the end of the day, very, very few people get extremely rich extremely quickly because they're generally holding a majority of the tokens. This Binance slice isn't one address, it's a couple addresses. Now you can see Huobi on here, OKEX on here. But in general, it's mainly Binance and this other address. I should really look into this, what this address is. It's probably one of the vaults or something on Yearn, I don't know. But it holds 5,000 YFI-ish, 550, whatever it is, 5,500. It holds a significant portion of it. If we look at transactions per day on YFI, there isn't much on-chain activity. I guess the question is, does there need to be on-chain activity? If we compare it to another governance token like Maker, for MakerDAO, you know, if you look at the transactions per day for any general governance token, there shouldn't really be any. I mean, there's really no need. And this, you know, this is all speculation and trading. This isn't people voting for stuff, right? Some of this might be, but they did have a vote recently on some stuff, but you're not going to see, you don't have a reason to move your governance tokens, right? Like if they're in your wallet and you're using them to vote on stuff, you're not going to move them. You know, this is speculative trading activity, not really anything else. This is average transaction size per day. Again, this is all just descending, mainly because there really shouldn't be a reason to send your tokens anywhere unless you're trading them. So this isn't really going to be, you know, these metrics aren't what they are for other tokens that have a store of value or unit of account or transfer ability to send value places. This isn't what YFI is generally should be used for, in my opinion. It's a staking token. It really doesn't, or a governance token, really doesn't have a, you know, those qualities that like Bitcoin or ETH might have. If you look at the GitHub, they have a few GitHubs that are semi-active. You know, maybe I'd expect a little bit more activity in something that's worth what it's worth and something that's seen what it's seen in price activity. But, you know, what do I know? I'm not a developer. Commits in general aren't like something you can trade off of. It just shows to me is something happening. Like, I don't care what it is. There's the quality of it is whatever. It's just, is anything happening here? They did recently vote to formalize the YIPS, the Yearn Improvement Protocol process. So I'd expect more activity sooner rather than later, just based on that. if they're going to continue to improve on this, which looks like they are. They're releasing products and connecting more DeFi stuff every week. So I don't think it's a dead project by any means. I'd expect more in GitHub stuff, I guess. I don't know. Looking at Google Trends for DeFi, crypto, and yield farming, both are down pretty significantly, but I think that's normal based on how the price has kind of played out. I mean, it's spiked way up to insane levels. Everybody got euphoric, and then it's cooled off, and now we're seeing euphoria in older altcoins rather than necessarily DeFi stuff. Because DeFi stuff had a run, Bitcoin had a run, ETH had a run, and now it's altcoins that are just left and have a warm body listed. Ripple is listed everywhere. People have massive integer bias. You can buy 10,000 of them for like $3, and it's easily accessible. Like I said, it's listed on Coinbase, it's listed on Robinhood, listed everywhere. So Yearn isn't listed everywhere. It's got the Monero problem. So far, it's not really listed on those main exchanges. Not as bad as Monero. Monero's listed basically nowhere, but it's not one of the top coins that comes to mind when you're thinking about your Robinhood account. As a new person, Yearn Finance, I don't think is on Robinhood. It might be. Smite me down if I'm wrong there. Let's look at some technicals. We have 5,200 EMAs, VPVR, volume profile of the visible range, yearly pivot. These are actually the monthly pivots because you can't get the yearly pivots because YFI hasn't been around that long. Volume, RSI. This is the 4-hour chart for something that hasn't existed for more than a couple months. It's a baby. You gotta crank down the time frames there. You just can't see. The daily looks like nothing, right? So the 4-hour trend-wise, it was bearish, got reset, and bullish again, and off to the races it was. People love to hate on the simple stuff like EMA crosses, but man, this is what more do you want here, right? You got a bear cross, a bear trend, bull cross, bull trend. It looks great. It's above the 50 trend wise. It still looks fine for I don't know how much more continuation, but it definitely is bullish. It's showing declining volume on rising prices. That's always indicative of a bearish divergence there. There would be a bear div on higher time frames here. Again, you're getting highs on less momentum, so it's definitely a weakening bullish trend. I wouldn't say it's going to roll over bearish immediately. VPVR is showing resistance at that 30K, 28K level, support at around 25, 22, and then mega support at 13, 14, 15. Monthly pivot there as well. So if this does roll over, I don't expect it to breach 13. If it breaches 13, then it's going to reach for 8 again. That's how I would read this, because this is a mega support, and if this fails, that means there's a ton of selling. And with something as new and silly as this token is, it's a difficult coin to have expectations for, because the holders and the market is so new and fresh. Anything can really happen, but in a vacuum, 13K to 14K is definitely mega support. We had consolidation here, and it's up above that now. And like I was saying with the divergences, it's really traded extremely technically. This is an ascending triangle as well here. Head and shoulders here, broke down, descending triangle, broke down. Got a bullish divergence here, bearish divergence, reset. Anytime RSI reaches for 50 again, you can say to yourself, okay, the divergence is over now, right? And right now, there isn't really a divergence on this on low time frames, but like I said, there's definitely divergence on rising prices on lower RSI. So this looks a little tired. Doesn't need to roll over anytime soon. And then if we pop on the cloud, we can say, oh, okay, we're getting a bearish TK cross above the cloud. That is a long exit signal. It is not a short entry signal, but it is a long exit signal. So we had the Kumo breakout, ride this trend up, boom, exit. And then you just wait for these EMA type lines to flip bullish again somewhere up here. It looks like it's going to want to retest 19 based on this edge-to-edge potential. So once it breaks into the cloud, I haven't looked at it today, but once it breaks into the cloud, it's going to reach for 19. But what you want to see for bullish continuation is the opposite of what you saw here on the 4-hour. For bearish continuation, you had this break down below the cloud with a bearish TK cross, reconsolidated, bearish TK cross again, more down, bearish TK cross again, more down. So that's what you want if you're expecting bullish continuation here. You want these TK crosses to happen over and over again to sort of fuel the fire, move that roller coaster, give it some oomph, as the kids say. So overall, I think Yearn is a very tradable token. I don't think it necessarily is a holdable token. I think what Yearn's doing is a valuable service for those who are in the DeFi ecosystem. We'll see if the DeFi bubble can last another year. If DeFi is still a thing in a year from now, YFIs will be positioned extremely well as an essential service for people interested in min-maxing their yields and APYs. If DeFi goes away, Yearn goes away, essentially, and the token will wither and die. It'll still be traded as long as it's listed, but it's not really going to have a purpose. So all of this is kind of predicated fundamentally on DeFi. Chart-wise, it looks fine, and obviously it's the 4 hour I'm looking at, so anything can happen between this week and next week. And I'd expect supply to start increasing eventually. I don't expect 30K to hold as the total amount of tokens. So if supply increases, price should go down. There will be more selling pressure, so that's going to affect the chart, obviously. So just keep an eye out for that sort of thing. But trend-wise, you can trade it. Like I said, it's traded extremely technically. I mean, this is textbook stuff here thus far. So right now it looks pretty good for a little trend reset here, and watch for bullish continuation in the future.